The process of editing has a lot to do with the way that you decide what to leave in and what to leave on the figurative cutting room floor. As an entrepreneur, you have limited resources, especially when you're starting out. So understanding the essence of the problem that you're solving is absolutely critical.
Do you have a process where you distill something this big into its very core element?
Absolutely. I think that's the most incredible thing that you can do, even within one piece or within your career. You first learn about all the things you can do, then you learn about what you can leave out to still say exactly what you're saying. Deleuze, a philosopher, writes on Francis Bacon's work. I love this. He talks about a painting having everything in it to start with. And then what you're doing when you're painting is you're actually eliminating or covering the things you don't want people to see, so that the only thing left is the thing. Painting, or any art really, we think it's a this and a this and a this and a this. Just so many things, it's an additive thing. But I think often we associate with covering. And I think that art's job is not to cover, but art's job is to reveal. And I think an entrepreneur's job is the same thing. A real entrepreneur is revealing something that we didn't know.
Every company, every product, everything that's created is ultimately a story. It's a dialogue between the creator and the consumer. And as people, we know that the simpler the story and the more central we are to that intention and that message that we're trying to communicate, the better it is understood.
Kanye West and Rihanna and Paul McCartney recently had a song called 4 or 5 Seconds. And, they just do like 4 lines and then they go to the chorus. And then they do, I think, maybe 8 lines and they get back to the chorus. But that first time that they get to the chorus, which is so soon after they introduce the verse, puts the listener in the frame of mind of concision, of being concise, being a concise communicator. And communicators that take too long to get to the point will bore the audience, will often not introduce any new concepts that are helping the story.
There is power in simplicity. It has this magical effect of cutting through all the noise, cutting through all the distractions, and really hitting its target right where it's intending to. There is a very famous story of Steve Jobs where years after he left Apple, somebody brought him an expanded Apple keyboard. And he took a look at it and there was all these function keys, F1, F2, F3. So he looks at the person who gave him the keyboard and says, "When's the last time you used the F1 or F2 key?" And the guy says, "I don't really remember." And he says, "That's exactly my point." So he yanks his car keys and starts taking keys out. And he says, "I'm changing the world one key at a time." And this is illustrative of the fundamental philosophy that companies like Apple have, which is that there's discipline in simplicity. Great artists like Picasso are well known in terms of going through a particular process where they reduce an animal, and there's a very classic example of Picasso's The Bull, to its very essence, down to 5 or 6 or 7 or 10 lines. And businesses and products and entrepreneurs ultimately have to go through this particular process where they're reducing an idea to its fundamental essence and acting on that.
It goes back to nature. All right? If you look at any entity, any person, any animal, any plant, anything, stuff comes to them. Water has minerals in it, salt, and this and that. That plant or animal absorbs what it needs and passes what it doesn't need. I believe we have an incredibly high fidelity engine that knows whether we need something or not. Your job is to filter out what doesn't belong.
I'll always take away clutter. An assiette is really 3 little dishes on 1 dish. And people can get lost in the numbers, right? They can say, wow, yeah, okay, yeah, there was 3 things here. These 3 things were good collectively. I'm the opposite. If I could give someone 1 thing on a dish, even if it's 1 piece of buffalo mozzarella cheese, right? That 1 thing better be exceptional. So for me, it's about less clutter. It's about less noise. Don't give me the frills on the outside, right? The chopped parsley and sprinkled all around the plate, or the sauces that people kind of splash around everywhere and say, yes, I'm artistic. It's exactly the same in business. right? So it's about minimal for a very certain reason, but it's got to have impact.
At their best, the simplest products tend to give us the most satisfaction. You have to be 100% sure that what you left in is what will fundamentally be the most impactful thing for your customer and who you're trying to reach.